Some truly somber news here coming out of the wrestling world as well as the horror community. The passing of WWE superstar Bray Wyatt. This was something that I think caught everybody off guard. If you're close to the pro wrestling world, you know that um, hasn't been seen in a few months, but rumors were swirling that we were going to be seeing a return of Bray Wyatt soon enough, and then news broke on Thursday that Bray Wyatt had passed away. Right now, it's I don't know if it's 100% confirmed. I know it's taken as a heart attack so far. So I think that's what we're going with at this point. If it gets updated, we'll certainly um, talk about it a little bit more. But this is something that really caught me off guard. I mean, as we did Splatterthon last year, I had the pleasure of deep diving into Bray Wyatt's career as the Fiend, and really living in that space for almost the entire month of October. And it's something where you take a look at that video, you take a look at anything that Bray Wyatt has done. Um, you really understand his love for horror and storytelling, because he created such a unique character with the Fiend, as well as the Wyatt family and everything that he'd been doing up until that little break that he had and then his untimely passing. But it was just something that really caught us off guard. And it's something that I think in a world of pro wrestling where everything's been done, he did spark a new kind of character. And I think that really just shows off Bray Wyatt's creativity.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest when it comes into the pro wrestling world. I grew up with it very sparingly. My dad's a big fan of pro wrestling. So it's like at least for a long time he was, and up through the mid 2000s. So like I grew up knowing a few people. Like I liked Batista. Like before he was even an actor, he was the wrestler that I kind of latched onto, and my dad would watch it. But it was just never something that like caught a hold of me as much. But since Luke and I became friends, and like 2016-ish, we this is something that I know is a big passion for you. And obviously, as we spend a lot of time together talking and doing podcasts and writing films together, wrestling is going to come up. So as that does, and as my hobbies and interests that aren't shared come up as well. So it's like I started to get a little bit more into the world of the WWE, and a lot of it is thanks to you. And this was something that you had mentioned him, I believe, a little bit before, especially with particular script we were talking about. You used him as a reference, and then when you started working on that video last year, that's when I really took the deep dive. I waited for your video to come out, and then I kind of kept track of him. I kept following up with him just because I thought he was a really interesting guy. I liked his initiative. I liked what he was able to bring to it, and just a lot of respect for him as a creative and the passion that he brought from not just the wrestling aspect, but of course the horror. And this is just really tragic stuff. Because again, as somebody who's not well versed in it, I would say that he was probably, in the modern sense, my favorite wrestler at the time here. Because like, again, I'm not following anybody too deep, but like this was someone I followed a little bit, after your video, and it's just shocking, and it's something I did not expect. Like I said to you off air, I had a triple take when I saw the news. I when I scrolled past it at first, I was like, what? Like just I didn't get it. So when I talked to you, you had said that there had been, it kind of caught people off guard, but there had also been rumors of some health issues and things over the last year or so. And but everything from what I understand was this was still just a shock.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where I don't think you're ever prepared for, especially, I think, especially in the wrestling world, as you get older wrestlers who've retired, it's like, okay, well, not necessarily caught completely off guard, but he was still an active wrestler that was appearing on television, up until all these ailments and his little break there. But looking at the Fiend Bray Wyatt and the uniqueness of that character and just different facets that he brought, even if you're not a fan of pro wrestling, and that's one of the reasons why I did that video, was that I just kind of wanted to show off how in depth he thinks of this character and what he wanted to bring to it, and how steeped in horror that it really is, and
Hmm.
the uniqueness of it. And I urge anyone who is not familiar with Bray Wyatt and is not really into pro wrestling, definitely look up some videos of the Firefly Funhouse, the Fiends, and just take it in, because it is something that's truly unique in a world where it's hard to come up with unique gimmicks and in characters. It's something that I don't think we're ever going to see again. I think it's something that's going to be studied by horror fans, wrestling fans. It doesn't matter. I think he did cross over into that pop culture, and it's something that it's just so sad. It's um, you know, I know I'm going to be watching his videos. I already do, but like going back and being able to study those, because it is something that you can really bring into the horror community as well. But yeah, I definitely urge anyone who hasn't seen it, go do a deep dive, fall down that rabbit hole, and just immerse yourself in some Bray Wyatt stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. And as again, somebody who's not as well versed as an outsider to maybe some of you who are listening who again aren't into the wrestling steam, it is a very interesting story. I love some of the interviews that I got to watch of him going through his process, and just like the collaborative nature of not only his performances in the ring, but also just like Luke said, what he brought to the Wyatt family and the Funhouse stuff. Like those are some great videos too. The little Funhouse like kind of bumpers that he did,
Yeah,
kind of bringing that character in. It's very creepy. You can tell there's a ton of references and a ton of just like inspirations that you can pull from a medley of different horror films. And yeah, it's good stuff, man. And this is seriously just absolutely still pretty shocking. I talked to a few people at work about it who I know are wrestling fans, and yeah, they were pretty shocked them in themselves. And I mean, to be 36, I mean that is so young. Like
yeah,
that is still just so young. But I mean, this is a cruel world. And we watch a lot of cruel shit by a lot of people's standards with our horror movies. But the one thing I can say that horror did was it opened my eyes to someone like Bray Wyatt, and I can say that is a positive, and somebody that will definitely be referenced, and at least have a special spot in my mind, considering that he played a big pivotal role in the first Splatterthon for us, and
yeah,
was early in this podcast, was something that I remember when you pitched me that video and just that idea, and I encouraged you to go forth with it because it was such a fun and unique idea. And unfortunately, the WWE decided to rip us a new asshole when we posted it. But I will be posting the video again here shortly, so that way everybody can hopefully see it, watch it, and just understand what an effect this guy has not only had on Luke here, but the channel as a whole. So
absolutely. And it's something where, yeah, he's passed away, but again, go check out his things, his videos, his interviews, and allow his legacy to live on, because it's something that's truly amazing.